everybody. How are you? Welcome back to the Joe Show. I hope you're having a good day, doing whatever you're doing, wherever you're at. I am I'm coming right to you after I just recorded my last episode. I got a real big nudge to just sit and kind of talk some more about some of the things I was talking about last week. If you listened to last week, I was talking about trusting yourself and trusting yourself through all the really, hard stuff that you've done. So instead of trusting in the unknown, as we're kind of taught to do or told to do, um, I reclaimed that statement um, and and told you to start to trust in yourself because in all the unknown situations that you've been in, the one constant has always been yourself. And so to trust in yourself. And then I talked a little bit about at the same time, I mentioned briefly about your intuition. And that is really what I'm going to dive into today, right now, is about trusting in your intuition. That's the other part of trust in yourself, right? Yes, you have gotten through all sorts of difficult situations, but you also can trust in that inner voice, that intuitive part of yourself. And that's what I'm going to jump into today. So I guess this is like trust in yourself part two, a deeper level of trusting in yourself. And I have so many fun stories about my intuition. And I know once you start thinking about it, you're going to have lots of stories as well, like lots of fun moments where you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I was so excited to talk about this. I just sit down, like, I didn't even freshen up. I was like, yes, I got to start talking about this right now. So here I am. I'm trusting that some of the fun might come through. But what I want to, first things first, your intuition. We've all heard it described as the female intuition, women's intuition. And your intuition is a very, very feminine energy. Um, when you are hearing your intuitive voice, that little knowing, that little whisper in your ear, that knowing in your heart of, ooh, this is what I'm going to do, or don't go down that street, or right, like that feeling that you get, that's your intuition. And it is a very feminine energy. And to hear it and to follow it means that you are in flow. And that is feminine. To be in flow is a feminine energy, where a masculine energy is very structured and very contained. So, yes, men do have intuitive nudges. They can listen to their intuition as well. It's not just a female thing, but and not even male and female, like, it's kinda easy to get caught up in gender roles in that, but just whatever your dominant energy is. A feminine energy is very flowing, it is very free, it's very creative. I had a great person, he explained it to me as, you know, um, feminine is water, and, the male masculine energy is the glass. So to have that in perfect balance, you would have a glass of water. So I loved that. But so when you are in flow, it is a very intuitive, very guided way of being. And so when we are listening to our intuition, we we can kinda move through life with ease. But that is a muscle and a tool that you have to practice using. It's a muscle you have to build. And that's one of when I started working with my coach, Natalie Imka, she gave me the intuition course. And I went through that, and boy, that was life changing. Like, absolutely. I I learned how to trust and how to listen to my intuition. And one of the first exercises that I had to do, and I still have it in my journal, and I love looking back on it, is listing the times. And I talked about this last week too, like listing all the times that you've listened to that little knowing, that nudge inside of you, that little niggle, when you listen to it and it's turned out in your favor, when it's turned out correct, like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, right?" I didn't park on that side of the parking lot, and thank God I didn't because in the news this morning, I saw that 4 cars had been broken into or whatever, right? So list all that stuff down. Like, take a minute to say like, "Oh, yeah, I remember when I didn't go to that one place with friends, but I went somewhere else with another group of friends, and I ended up meeting the man that I was gonna marry." True story, by the way. That's how I met Greg. Fun little things like that. So start to list those out, and I'm gonna tell you some of the ways that my tuition has helped me. One of the biggest ones was, and it was ironically when I was doing this intuition course too, which was like, okay, that's great. Um, I live in California. I live in Northern California right now. And last year we had a lot of fires. And the base that I live on was evacuated during one of those fires. And that whole day, you want to talk about stressful day. Like we are w- my husband's job, um, in his role, I also have a role. And part of my role is, making sure that our families are cared for. And we have a whole lot of families to care for. And well, not us, but we care for the people who care for the families. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it was a busy, busy day for us. And I was on the phone and I was making sure people were safe. And we had been getting told all day that our base was going to be safe and that we were going to be okay and that we weren't going to have to evacuate. And in fact, we were evacuating people from the surrounding areas onto base. And sometime during mid morning, I started to get the niggle that I needed to start packing my bags. And I did that. We had just been on vacation. I had still had the luggage in our guest room, and I just quietly brought the luggage into our bedroom, and I started packing things for the girls and I, just in case. And so I got the clothes packed, and I just put the bags back into the guest room like nothing was happening. And then a little later on, I got the niggle to get the cat stuff ready. So I went ahead and I got cat litter and stuff in the bag, and I went ahead and I put that in the car. And then I got the niggle to maybe start to get the important documents together. And I did. And all day we were still hearing that we were safe on base. You're safe on base. You're safe on base. But all day I also was listening to that voice inside of me saying, start getting your stuff together. So I was. Then I very clearly heard book a hotel. And so again, we're safe on base. I'm online. I book a hotel. The moment I book the hotel, we get notice that the base is going to be evacuated. The jets are leaving. And let me tell you something. I, I have been left more times when they evacuate our aircraft. And as soon as Greg told me they were evacuating the jets, I was like, I'm gone. See y'all. Even if they don't evacuate the base, I'm leaving. I'm getting the girls out of here. We're going. I've been left too many times to be like, okay, have fun, everybody. But so I booked the hotel and we got the notice that we were evacuating. There was a little powwow on my porch, and the other families were like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm leaving. See ya. I got this hotel. Love y'all. Have fun. I got the girls into the car and we drove away. We had 0 traffic leaving base. We had 0 traffic driving through all of these neighborhoods and along all these streets where people were being evacuated at the same time. We get on the interstate, we have 0 traffic heading north to Sacramento. When we get to our hotel, I had gotten the last room in the hotel. I had got there just in time because when we got into our hotel room, got dinner, got the girls and the cats and everything settled, I could then help other people find places to stay. I could be set and ready to go. And it's all because I listened to my intuition. If I had said, "No, they're telling me it's okay," or if I had shamed myself into thinking that maybe I should pack a bag, but then didn't, and then suddenly I'm like, "Oh, well, I was right." I didn't do any of that. I listened to my intuition and I packed a bag. I listened to my intuition. I booked a hotel room. I listened to my intuition and we got out of here without any hassles. And now let's say that base didn't evacuate and we could have gotten to stay. Guess what I would have had to done? I would have had to unpack a bag and nobody would have known the wiser, right? So listen to these moments of intuition. Listen to that. I've known the job we're moving into, the job we're in right now. I knew we were going to get these jobs. I knew it. My intuition told me that we were going to do that. My intuition told me last year when they were letting the kids out for 2 weeks, for a 2 week crisis learning period, I knew that my kids weren't going back to school. So I began to prepare for that. I knew in summertime that my kids weren't going back to school this year. So I prepared for that. I listened to my intuition. And look, gals, we have been listening to our intuition for years, for our whole lives. We've been listening to our intuition. We've heard it when you meet that person at the bar and you're like, I don't like them. That is your intuition telling you, back up. There's some red flags on that one. It's also what tells you, ooh, I do like them. That's your intuition saying that's one of your people. Go to them. Your intuition is this really fun thing, and it's my number one tool in my toolbox. I listen to my gut. It's that gut feeling. That's what else it's called, right? Ooh, I just felt it in my gut. I knew that wasn't going to be good. I knew I shouldn't have eaten at that restaurant. Ugh. Right? That's your gut feeling. That's your gut feeling. Should I book this vacation or not? Just feel into it. Listen, what does your gut say? My gut says, yeah, well, then do it. you know, that's a fun example, but you can start training your intuition on little everyday things, right? Like try one day not to plan your menu, not to plan what you're going to eat for a whole day. And then just let yourself be intuitively guided on what you're going to eat. Just let yourself, just kind of turn your brain off and let your heart speak and see how you feel at the end of the day, right? I used to that was such a huge stressor for me, food planning, which is kinda weird. My background is in food, which is probably why I kinda make it a little bit more difficult than it has to be. And now I am totally in flow with the way that I go grocery shopping. I keep my pantry stocked and I keep my refrigerator stocked. And then I will go into the grocery store and just be in absolute flow. And I pick up and I plan my meals right there. And then I see how my week goes to when I'm going to make what I have to make. And some of the things I don't get to and I have to put them in the freezer. That's okay. I'm in flow. I have that for next week or the week after that. And it's such a cool way of living. It just really lets you lead the life that you're supposed to live. Our intuition is an amazing thing. So you can do it, through food. You can also, just for fun, get lost. While you're driving around, Take a couple of wrong turns and allow your intuition to guide you back home. Now, yes, your surrounding areas will be looking familiar, but that's also part of what you're reading. Like your intuition is reading that and it's telling you where to turn and how to get to where you're going. And look, I understand this is kind of woo-woo stuff, but this is the kind of stuff I love to talk about. This is part of that, all of that being seen and that transition stuff, because your intuition, when you are trying to live the life that you're meant to live, when you're trying to get to self-love and acceptance, radical acceptance, those are, you have to have a very strong intuition to get to those things. Training that intuition muscle is one of the main muscles that you need to train. Like, that's one of the ones that you need to work on, because when you are when you are trusting in yourself and you do trust in your intuition, when your trigger points come up, you'll know instantly if it is it my kid pushing my button? Is my kid being a jerk right now, or is she pushing my button for some reason? Or am I mad at my husband because it's something that he did, or is it something that's going on inside of me? You're gonna know because you're gonna be able to feel it in your gut. You're gonna be able to feel that intuitive nudge of, "No, it's something more than that. It's something more than that." Okay. Yay. So what, right? So your intuition. Oh God, I love talking about your intuition. I love thinking about all the crazy things. And yeah, I can say they're crazy because some of the stuff that my intuition has given me has been like, "Are you kidding me? That's pretty amazing." So I would love to hear what you guys like. Tell me about ways that your intuition has led you into something great, or led you, or times that you didn't listen to it and things were a little bit more difficult. And I will say the story I shared about meeting my husband, that was true. I had other plans that night, and I very clearly heard not to do them, to go with my friends to this other place, and I did. And I met the man of my dreams. And I knew in a moment, I knew that he was my partner. Took him a while to get there, which is fine. We all got our own paths. But I knew that in that moment that he was mine and that I was meant to be with him. And if I hadn't listened to my intuition, if I had kept on with those same plans, I don't know when I would have met Greg. I believe I would have, but maybe not at that time. And so about tell me, come on over our Facebook page and let's celebrate our intuitions. Let's talk about times when we were right, when we had the niggle, when we had the nudge, and it was right. We could move through something stressful or something big, or we could just move through something with ease because we let ourselves be guided by our hearts, by our intuition. Tell me about that. I want to hear it. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, I could talk about this all day, but it's so super exciting. I hope you have a super day. I hope you are led intuitively today, and let me know how it goes. Love you guys. Bye.